All right, welcome back to the channel, folks. We just had announcements at Gamescom about Age of Empires 4, showing off some gameplay, some new details. We're going to hop into it now and live react to it. So let's get to it. All right, so I have not watched this. Dude, I love the wait. Can we just... Is it mathematically possible to have that many elephants? Please tell me yes. I will do it if it is possible. I can't believe it. I'm actually excited for the new Delhi civ. Get hyped. Dude, I love this new biome. I love that green biome. These elephants from the new Delhi civ look really, really fast, by the way. The light elephant looks really, really speedy. Let's go, Golden Horde. This civ does look like something different and new. The Tuglak looks fun as all hell. The Macedonians, that's the Byzantine civ. And then finally... Did they forget one? Golden Horde. Tuglak. Macedonians. Oh, Japan. Did they do Japan? They just didn't ping it up? All right, nice. So that is the real trailer. Thank goodness, because originally the trailer that they were showing was about the PS5 launch, which great news for the console gamers. I'm glad you guys are getting it, but that's the trailer we needed, by the way. So.
Lead producer Savannah Harrison and principal design director Christopher Rubio. Thank you so much for being here, guys. Should we talk a little bit about the Crucible then, actually, here? So this is the new single-player mode. So Savannah, can you explain exactly? I've got loads of questions.
This is the roguelike.
Basics. I'm so excited. What exactly is a roguelike RTS, and how does that work within the context of Age?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Crucible. We're incredibly excited about it, right? Franchise first
Chat, is she loud enough?
It's going to blend not just the classic RTS gameplay that
here we go.
all love, but it's also including elements of
so they've got one per civ.
Randomized objectives. So every time you play, there's some.
Chat, we got to talk. Like, who's chalked right now? Bronze? Bronze? Dude, even I can do better than bronze.
Something new to do. We'll probably talk a little bit more about them in a bit.
It is on my list of things to ask.
I am clicking hardest straight away. I love it hard. I assume, do you unlock all of them once you complete one, or is it going to be like ints? Probably ints, so like they at least get 4 playthroughs out of you.
And then there are also elements of kind of hold against the Horde gameplay. You're being attacked by enemy waves as you work to defend your wonder.
Oh, you've got a lot of perks, by the way.
It's also just a very customizable mode, something that, you know...
So you get these points by completing, basically, right? That's the roguelite element, is like, do good, unlock these, play better. You know what would be cool here? I'm looking forward to seeing, like, almost like Dark Souls, when you don't have any armor, any equipment on, you don't level up. There's going to be people doing that wild stuff, like hardest difficulty with no perks whatsoever. That's going to be really exciting. I hope, by the way, there is some sort of leaderboards to flex these type of things somewhere, whether it's AoE4 World bothering to do it or something in-game. That was something that they definitely needed with Trials of Cross and Rose, because it would have been cool to have had Agincourt leaderboards where you can see who's ranked #1 in the world, instead of just having, like, me post the first ever conk timing and then having, like, I think BC's the one that done it, and then maybe 2 other people who have YouTube videos. And outside that, no one knows who's best. It's a really cool community way of bringing everyone together. So we'd love to have them do that. Maybe even an endless mode to enable that further.
The that we're showing right now is kind of walking through the initial setup. You can go in, you can change your civilization, choose any civilization.
Whoa. You can get +1 armor on all units, 10% health. The armor one sounds broken. At least there's 2 levels only. That would be crazy
otherwise.
A great
feature of Age All Up is exactly how much you can tailor the next few hours of your life that you want to play, right?
Absolutely, right? Are you looking for a challenge? Awesome. We have a difficulty for that.
We are going to challenge you.
Are you looking to just, like, kick back and have a good time? This is a great mode for that, because it's again, kind of each experience is a little bit
we're going to check out the Golden Hordes?
No. It's also a great mode to kind of go into, learn. You know, it's a good opportunity to experiment with some of the new civilizations and kind of pair them.
You can just have fun. It's just
100%.
literally just relax, chill, but if you're more competitive, you can jump in, play some of the harder difficulties and really get that challenge. So the team did a really good job putting this one together, so we think players are going to have a lot of fun.
Yeah. And this is where, like, the mix of, like,
Now, one thing I will say is, like, you're talking a lot about the single player, and I'm even seeing it in chat. I love that they fought single player, because one of my biggest criticisms of AoE4 for a long time is that the single player was completely overlooked. Like, even the original campaigns felt really not there. The Psalms Ascend fixed a lot of that. That campaign was brilliant, but if you didn't like playing Middle Eastern civs, then like you had nothing, right? This seems like it's going to be not any civ. Wait, no, you can play any civ, right? Yeah, you can play any civ because he had the different like labels. So it's not that you're playing each of the new civs. It's that you're playing against each of the new civs as your opponents in the different areas. So you can play any civ you want, which is cool. My concern is, I love that we have single player fought here, but could we have actually had multiplayer fought as well? This with co-op. I hope there's an idea of that, some sort of mini expansion that makes them co-op. Like, I would actually pay like, $5 or $10 to change all these maps into co-op maps if that's possible. And that would also then fund the additional development work to do that change.
Objectives and perk points they've seen
together, so we think players are gonna have a lot of fun.
Yeah. And this is where like the mix of like objectives and perk points they've seen all come into play, right?
Yeah, there are a few different components. One of which is the Boons system, which would have been featured in the awesome trailer.
Yes.
That opened this segment.
The Boons system was the one from the Chart the Course game mode. So you saw they had different things come up, and it looks like that we read earlier, remember, that it's random. You get all kinds of different options. Like you can get plus armor or plus health, or like they'll do a different attack when they die, or you get a bunch of stone, or you can like get this but no longer do this thing. That is going to make it really interesting and replayable, by the way. But it's also going to, like, from a competitive standpoint, RNG element of like, I didn't get the best time in the world because I didn't get a good boon. Who cares? Like, you'll run it back again.
Boons are essentially, they're offered up periodically throughout gameplay, and they're these cards that offer special abilities. And they're meant to kind of...
don't worry.
They're meant to... They're meant to kind of provide different opportunities for the meta to kind of push your strategy. We have over 50 boons, so
wow, okay.
Not bad.
There's a lot.
I hope they're going to add more.
In the office, just coming up with new
I'm
ones.
greedy.
And they have great names, so it's really worth trying to see as many of them as you can. The boon system is really interesting because some of the boons are like purely positive, right?
Okay.
There's one called Call of the Wild that gradually brings all of the Gaia on the map in towards your town center.
Okay.
So
we're stealing
you're not
ideas
having
from
to
Age
go
of
out and
Myth.
Scout, right?
Sure, yeah. Which is very precious at the beginning. You don't send them off to get the cheap and bring them in because
they just come to you.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
Very
Awesome.
good.
But then there are some more complex boons as well, in that they come with a really great benefit, but also a trade-off. So one that's very popular with the team right now is called Golden Parachute. It's a little self-explanatory,
Sure.
But essentially you receive a steady stream of gold throughout the mission, but you sacrifice all of the gold mines on the map.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so you get gold early, but there's actually a limited quantity. You can't go out and farm that at some point.
Yes.
Wow.
Gradually.
That's really smart, by the way. That type of design, I really rate highly. I've been doing a lot of The King is Watching. Anyone watching my live streams would have heard me talk about it a lot. And in that game, you get advisors at the start of the run, and they can very heavily change the way your runs go. So you can get one that spawns 2 muskets at the start, which means you can be more greedy instead of needing to build military units. Or you can get one that stops you getting like wheat gathering buildings or tree gathering buildings, but gives you a bunch of spells and different artifacts to gather those resources a different way. That's really smart because that's also going to increase replayability by giving people drastically different ways of approaching the game. So really well played there, because remember, guys, the key to whether this is going to be successful or not is how replayable is it? Am I just going to put in 5 hours and I'm done? Or is this a game mode that can get 40, 50, even 100 hours out of me?
You're accruing this gold,
Just over
right?
time.
But it is a trade-off, right? It is kind of pushing how you are going to strategize and how you're going to
Smart,
go
yeah.
about playing the game. So a really cool system. We also mentioned kind of objectives. Obviously, the core objective within the Crucible is to defend your wonder. We have these enemy waves coming at you. They are kind of growing in intensity over time, and the main challenge is to hold out as long as you can.
Sure.
But
This is where I'd be turtling. I think I say this every hour. I'm such a turtler. I have 1 million walls and 1 million people. So would that strategy work?
Which by the way,
you'd be able to protect your wonder, right?
we go.
yeah,
So-
like if your goal is to protect Wonder, that's the other smart thing. Instead of them making this like, for example, some of the maps from Trials of Crossing Rose is like, you must clear the map in this time, right? Like get your best time. This is now like, you must survive for this long. So it's actually quite smart by them to lean into a defensive playstyle, because the majority of casual players do seem to lean into that playstyle. The fact that English is the most played Civ in Age of Empires 4 supports that idea. So that was actually a pretty smart call by them.
Absolutely, objective done for me.
And then, you know, if you're feeling especially courageous, we really incentivize going and exploring the map. So we have these optional objectives, these points of interest. So you might be wandering the map and see something like a crop circle. You might be wandering the map and see a coliseum that is defended by
Wait, is this guy just playing Delhi?
by a champion
What the hell?
unit. And if you defeat that unit, they actually
no, I think it's Tuklag. That's the new one.
Ooh, okay.
Really worth being
Beneficial
adventurous.
Because it's
to
got the
maybe step
placeholder pink
away
in the
from
corner.
The walls a little bit and exploring,
just for a little bit. I promise you can go back to turtling.
Thank you so much, Savannah. I appreciate that. Wonderful. Now, the thing I really wanted to talk about was these 4 new variant civilizations. I don't know.
And by the way, before we hop in the variant, one other thing I'll say is by the sounds of it, what I've read and what I've seen, it seems like there's a lot of little objectives around the map. Maybe they're random each time, and I like that. Like anyone like me who played a bunch of RTS as a kid, I still remember playing like Star Wars Galactic Battlegrounds, and like there were all these small little paths you could take to little Easter eggs that would just have, I don't know, some Jawas sitting there doing something in the shop or whatever. And those details add so much character, which is hard to do with games like RTSs because they are inherently disconnected. But I hope they have these type of elements, different approaches to playing the map, and also small Easter eggs and whatever, because that is what will add a lot of replayability, because it's not just the fact that I play the map different ways, it's the idea that I can play the map 5, 6, 7 different times and discover new things. Maps like Agincourt in the last DLC had elements of that, like the side bases with the resources, but it was quite limited on what there was to find.
How much time we have to talk about all of them, but I know we've got, well, as I say, 4 that we can talk about. So can we maybe focus on the Golden Hordes?
Absolutely.
That one looks like my favorite.
The Golden Horde are they're actually right now one of my favorite. And I don't like to play favorites in the game because there's so many great civilizations. We do have the Golden Horde. We have the Sengoku Daimyo. We have the Tugaluk Dynasty, and we have the Macedonians. But the Golden Horde, much like every civilization in Age of Empires 4, was inspired through history, right? Yeah. So unlike the baseline Mongol Civ, the Golden Horde is all about conquest and rapidity.
Oh, wait. We're getting some details here. I'm going to move my face. I think I'll go up. It'll be safer to be up top, right? Probably. Okay, so
the goal for was,
we've got the Torgud. These are the ones where if they're near the Khan, damage for the Khan will be redirected to them instead. We remember reading about those earlier. You've got building carts, which produces 2 building carts, which can be unpacked into a military building. So this is very much like Iobid then, by the sounds of it. Like you get one-off type upgrades. An additional building cart is produced when advancing to later ages. Then you've got... Oh, what's that? Let's try and catch it, because I think we missed one.
So, unlike
yes, that's building carts.
Baseline Mongol Civ.
Relic Uvus. Shaman can consume a held relic to build an Uvu, which can exceed the build limit. Wait, they eat the relic? Like they full on eat the relic? Is that meant to be some sort of Genghis Khan with the make them? No, he cooked them in oil, right? This is a Game of Thrones reference. We're gonna make him wear the hat. Nah, is there? I'm trying to think. Was it Genghis Khan who made them drink liquid gold? It was, right? Is that he said he'd make them rich beyond their dreams, and then he basically made them swallow liquid gold. I think that's a reference to that. So the shamans consume a relic to build an Uvu to exceed the build limit.
The Golden Horde is all about conquest. And
then we got the Yam network trade. The Golden Tent will generate 10 gold every 10 seconds for each fortified outpost, up to a maximum of 6. So not crazy, actually. Like that's 60 times 6, right? So that ends up being 360. So that's equivocal to having 4 and a bit relics. That's actually pretty good. And actually, you might be right. I'm thinking of Perithians. That was not Perithians, Parthenians. To Crassus. Genghis Khan, I believe he boiled all the chiefs in oil or liquid gold. Yeah, you're right. Crassus is the one that I think they made drink the gold.
And rapid game.
And then Stone Army. Wait. Stone Armies. No, we want to see that one.
All about conquest and
Stone Armies is the Golden Tent can rapidly produce unique units at discounted stone cost. Interesting. So there's like a nice combo of eating the relics for stone and then vomiting out stone armies.
Rapid gameplay. So they produce units very quickly, and they sacrifice the mobility.
Up. Sorry. I'm reading chat and not paying full attention.
Very quickly.
Okay, so guys, you see that? We've got toggleable edicts.
And
so edict here, when the Karash edict is active, military bonus within the influence of a fortified outpost produce an additional Karash whenever any units recruited, rather. So you unlock these edicts and you toggle between them. So there's going to be a lot. It's kind of reminiscent of Byzantines and keeping track of your systems by the sounds of it. You're going to want to be using this golden tent a lot to pivot your strategies, but you also have to investigate
them. They sacrifice the mobility, which the main line has. That mobility being able to pack up structures and move around the map very quickly. The Golden Horde does not do that. At the center of the Golden Horde is the Golden Tent. Here's where players manage.
Stockyards with an influence produce gold. We saw this before. So these new stockyards, they are like pastures, but also kind of farms. They're basically ranches. They're ranches for Mongols. So you stick villagers inside instead of cow, and they eat the sheep. But also, you can make them into basically English farms late game with gold gen.
Basically, their age-up process. There's a lot of really fun and unique, I should say, upgrades and technologies that they can get as they age up, which gives the Golden
Reminder, by the way, this is the civ that gets access to drive-by rams. They have a tech that lets your rams open side slits and shoot. It's gonna be so cheesy.
A lot of flexibility in managing the tactical managing their tactical play in the battlefield in itself. So a lot of great stuff there. They also have all of our civs. I should say every variant civ has unique units, structures, and technologies. It's not
and elephants.
And
dude, I'm so looking forward to the elephants.
Game, which we associate that's back to the Tugaluk dynasty. But there's a lot of really cool things. One of the things that I love about the Golden Horde are the fact that they can build palisades onto the battlefield.
Beautiful.
What? Mongols and palisades? This is heresy.
The baseline Mongols cannot do that. In addition, they also have fortified outposts, some more powerful units. They also bring the mighty Batu Khan onto the battlefield. Again, and they have these Torgud units that are heavy melee or heavy cavalry that they bring on. There's a lot of really cool synergy between the units and how they play on the battlefield. So there's a lot of great stuff that players can take advantage of. And again, basically, it all comes back to one of our core pillars in Age 4, which is there's a lot of asymmetry in how the civilization's played. And our teams have done a fantastic job of maintaining that. Now that I think, we'll be at 22 civs with the release of this DLC. So, and that's a lot to maintain. And
as you say, have that different...
And by the way, like, this is the big thing I want to emphasize. I know there's going to be people who are upset. They're like, variant civs, man. I don't want variant civs. I want original civs. But hear me out on this, guys. This is really important. Yes, it'd be cool to have completely new, like Spain, Portugal, these type of things, right? But also, the more we're hearing about it, the more unique a lot of these are sounding. Now, we definitely need to hear more about the Japanese variant and the Byzantine variant. Byzantine sounds like it's going to be Angry Viking Byzantine version. But I will say so far, the Tuklak with the focus on full elephants is fairly different, kind of Abbasids versus Ayyubids. Depends on whether you think that was different enough. But the other one is most definitely, when you look at the Golden Horde, they sound really different. Like, they definitely sound really different to what we've seen with standard Mongols. So that's a good sign. I know people want original civs, and I'm there with you. I think next DLC needs to be Iberian Peninsula plus colonial like type interactions, so having things like Aztec, etc. Otherwise, like, what are we doing? There's only so much you can variant before you need to bring new things.
Sort of play style.
And that's actually one of the core things about each civ is that when we go to design them, it's how are these civs going to play? How are they different when they're brought onto the battlefield? And I give the teams a lot of I give them
you have a bunch of optional objectives, by the way.
How are we going to make them feel fun, right?
Yeah. So look at the mini-map. Like, you see the mini-map there? He's got like a bunch of things pinged up. So he's got like sacred sites, but you've also got flags here. Plus other things you can see through the fog. So it looks like there's a lot of objectives on the map.
Are they fun? Are they different? And that's really it. But we got 4 civs in this, and it's going to be, I think players are going to have a great time. So.
Wonderful. Savannah, I have to ask, do you have a favorite civ from the new variants?
Oh my goodness. I am quite partial to the Sengoku Daimyo, but you brought up
the Club of Boys.
Yeah, I do have to mention the Tughluq Dynasty. There are 3 new elephant units.
3? You're treating us. Wowzers.
Dude,
and
missed opportunity. No Great Bombard elephant.
With this expansion, it's the worker elephant. And essentially, he works as a mobile drop-off point. So,
Mongols are crying right now, by the way.
And I mean, he's just the best.
Love it. Thanks so much. It's been so good to talk to you both. Amazing to hear more, especially about the Elephant Savannah, and I cannot wait to play myself. So, real-time strategy fans, remember, you can pre-order Dynasties of the East now for 15% off. Didn't say that before, but there you go. Fun fact. But hurry back or just open a new chapter for My Hero Academia.
All right, we're not talking about My Hero Academia. So that is it. That's the news. We got a little bit of insight about the Golden Horde, some info from the developers. Let me know what your thoughts are on this one, guys. This is definitely going up on YouTube. If you haven't already subscribed, a lot of people watching live right now. We stream Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays. My takeaway, my TLDR on this, the DLC looks solid. I actually think at first people hear variant and they're not happy, but the more you listen, the more you read, the more you realize actually there is a lot going on this DLC. The roguelike game mode sounds incredible. My only negative is I really, really do wish that it had been set up to be co-op as well. But we'll see if I feel that way after I play it. We'll see if it has that replayability. Let me know if you guys think you'll be able to see yourself sinking 100 hours into that, or if it's going to be like a one and done. I am curious to know what the community mentality is. But big takeaway is, looks like a good DLC. Not sure it's going to be on Sultan's Ascend level. We'll have to see if the roguelike game mode delivers. But outside that, my big hope is the developers do themselves the justice of the incredible work they do and have original civs coming in the next DLC. Because these do look solid. At least 2 of these I can very clearly see are phenomenally different to the original civs. They probably all are. But I know the wider community perspective, maybe it's a bit shallow, but the mindset is going to be, these are not new civs. And until we get some new, I think the developers are robbing themselves of all the hard work they do and the incredible work they create. But that's all I've got for now. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and I'll catch you all in the next video.